Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Maria and I make personal development content here on YouTube. And so in today's video, I wanted to get on here and talk about three subtle ways or three subtle signs, you would say, of you are avoiding doing the work. I think a lot of times we can kind of say like, oh no, I'm working on myself. I'm doing the work. I'm doing the personal development. I'm doing the self-development and I'm working on areas of my life. But there still may be ways that we are actually avoiding doing the work that are not like clear or as obvious as we may think. And so the first way that we subtly avoid doing the work is through creating codependent relationships. And so codependent relationships looks like us putting a lot of emphasis on being the savior of the people around us. That looks like even in a relationship, right? Like we may, in a romantic relationship, we may want to always be that person that is needed. And, we may just say, like, oh, like, no, my partner needs me right now. So I can't focus on myself. Or like maybe your parents or maybe your siblings, you may just, or your friends, you may just always be that person that's the go-to person, the person that everyone can pick up the phone and call and say and unload their problems and unload their worries and all their frustrations and all these things, right? And so because you have all these people around you that have these problems and all these things going on, it's easy for you to just kind of get caught up in, oh, everybody else needs me. And so I'm actually not able to be there for myself. And so at first it may feel great, like you kind of just like can escape your own problems or escape your own growth just by saying, well, everybody else needs me and I'm the go-to person. But then what happens when you look around and you're going through things and you're like, wow, I'm actually really emotionally lonely. I don't have anybody really around me that I can call and depend on. And so that is a way that I have found that even myself included, throughout my years, have found that that is a way of me escaping the things that I need to be working on internally. Because when I am putting my dedication and my focus on everybody else, I don't have time to sit through my uncomfortable feelings and sit through the areas that I need to grow in and all these things. And it's honestly a form of escaping it because guess what? Personal growth, if you haven't realized already, is hard work. It's tough work. You may have a lot of tears. You may have a lot of frustration. You may lose people in your life. You may realize a lot of things about yourself that you really, really, really didn't realize, or you maybe subconsciously realized, but now you have to face it and it's in your face. And it's like, wow, like I really, really struggle with this area. And so it's easy to just kind of divulge into other people's problems or other people's things when we don't want to be able to focus on our own. And so what's so important about feeding this relationship with yourself though is that number one, you'll start to learn to surround yourself with other people who actually can be of emotional support to you in times. And so you won't always feel like you're just surrounded by people who always need to take from you and they can never give to you. That's the first thing. But the second thing and the most important thing is you are fostering a relationship with yourself, which means that now because you have stopped putting all of your emphasis on your codependent relationships and everybody needing you and you needing to save the day and you operating in the role of like being the caregiver or the caretaker for everyone and their feelings and their emotions and things that they have going on, you can start to be able to give that to yourself. Because at the end of the day, whatever relationship that you foster with yourself is more important than any other relationship you will ever have. That is how you will also learn to attract people around you that are able to provide you emotional support as well. The second way that I have found that a lot of people and honestly it's really across the board. Another way that people will find ways to kind of escape from doing their own work is through the form of addiction. So it may be a weed addiction, it may be a gambling addiction, it may be social media addiction, it may be shopping addiction, It may be drinking. Um, all of these things are different ways for us to regulate our emotions through avoiding them, right? So instead of actually sitting with the uncomfortable feelings and sitting with the reasons why we're doing these things, we instead want to distract ourselves with things that give us high levels of dopamine releases, and like they just make us feel good all the time. They're what you call like pleasurable um things. So like they allow us to feel good in the moment. And although later on down the line there may be consequences to it, like with gambling you may lose all your money, or like with shopping you spent all your money now on clothes, and it's like you probably don't even really have anywhere to go with them, with these clothes, but you just did that because it was an impulsive decision based on how you were feeling at the moment. You needed something to pick you up, you needed a pick me up, and it's nothing wrong with a pick me up. I want to be very clear on that. Like you can have a pick me up, but it's when it becomes an addiction, is that when you start to realize like, okay, I actually may be escaping doing the work because I am kind of finding different ways to kind of get around sitting with myself. And I think that was one of the things that I realized that happened with COVID, is that like we were almost forced to like sit with ourselves because like the whole world was shut down. And when a lot of people sat with themselves, I remember reading a lot of articles about people who were talking about, them going through depression and things like that. And, I don't think that for a second the conditions that we were in COVID and everything going on with COVID, and the deaths and all those things, um, definitely it had something to play with it. It played into that. But I do think that it also allowed us as humans to really sit with all the issues and the problems that we have to go through. And and the things that we are actually experiencing that we've been avoiding taking the time to pay attention to. And so that's the second way I found. It's like through forms of addiction, through ways that we just kind of try to escape, through social media, endless scrolling, right? So then you scroll yourself to bed. Like you literally may lay in your bed all night and scroll yourself to sleep. And so it gets your mind not thinking about things that you probably need to be working on, or things that are really bothering you, and being able to actually sit through those processes. And then the third subtle way, that, or sign, I should say, that you may be avoiding doing the work or escaping, is that you focus a lot of blame on other people, or you're always constantly talking about what other people need to be doing better. And so, what I really mean by this is like, if you feel like, oh, like, you're going through like your time right now where you're looking through your attachment style and like where it stems from, and the childhood trauma that you had to go through and all these things, right? You may be starting to be like, oh my gosh, like it's really my parents, and my parents are the problem. And so then you start to like put so much emphasis on them and not look at yourself, right? So it's so easy to just kind of, again, divert your attention to other people and what they can be doing better and what they need to be doing better. And you're again getting sent down that rabbit hole of paying your attention to other people and putting blame on other people and finding faults in other people and what they can be doing and what they should be doing and all these things, and instead putting that attention right back on yourself and saying, okay, that's their life to live, that's something that they are going to have to go through, deal with, all those things, but I am going to focus on me and the things that I can control. And now that I am an adult, even though I have been through childhood trauma, even though I have been through whatever it is that I have been through, I now am in a position where I have the resources to be able to help myself through anything that I have experienced. And so when you, again, divert your attention to yourself and say, I'm not going to focus on the outward things because those are things that I cannot control. I'm not going to focus on the outward people, because those are people that I cannot control. I'm not going to be focused on the faults of other people, because when you start to focus on the faults of other people, you can't look at you and them at the same time. Okay? So even while you're up there, you notice different things about people, you need to be thinking, hmm, why does this person bother me so much? Or why does this fault of them, or why does this flaw of them bother me so much? And is it because I see myself in them? Is it because, there's been some things about them that I feel like I really need to be working on? Those are questions that you should be asking yourself, right? No one's saying that you need to be oblivious to the fact that there may be things about other people that really may bother you, but why do they bother you? And that's, again, when you take the attention off of their annoying or their faults or their flaws, and you say, what about their flaws is affecting me? And then if you can't even answer the question of, is it affecting you? Then that even shows you even more about yourself of like, why are you so bothered by somebody else? Like, now that shows you that you have some real true internal work to do if they don't like do something to you because you see something about them and yourself that you want to change, but it's just that simply because you just don't like that. Okay, you can just not like it and just not be around them, or you can just like it and not like it and ignore it, but for it to do something to you so deeply will let you know that clearly there is something else going on, something that you need to be paying attention to for yourself. So honestly, that's really it for me. I really just wanted to kind of dive into these things because I find it to be extremely important that we realize the different ways that, we can actually be working on ourselves even more. So that's really it for me. Again, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And hey, listen, leave a comment down below if you would like me to expound upon anything in this video, or if you would like me to talk about a different topic. Be sure to leave a comment down below, and I will be in the comment section responding. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.